external and internal. The conscious Part 1. The Great Within. The mind of man is conscious and subconscious, objective and subjective, external and internal. The conscious mind acts, the subconscious reacts. The conscious mind produces the impression. The subconscious produces the expression. The conscious mind determines what is to be done, and the subconscious supplies the mental material and the necessary power. The subconscious mind is the great within, an inner mental world from which all things proceed that appear in the being of man. The conscious mind is the mind of action. The subconscious mind is the mind of reaction. But every subconscious reaction is invariably the direct result of a corresponding conscious action. Every conscious action produces an impression upon the subconscious, and every subconscious reaction produces an expression in the personality. Everything that is expressed through the personality was first impressed upon the subconscious, and since the conscious mind may impress anything upon the subconscious, any desired expression may be secured, because the subconscious will invariably do what it is directed and impressed to do. The subconscious mind is a rich mental field. Every conscious impression is a seed sown in this field and will bear fruit after its kind, be the seed good or otherwise. All thoughts of conviction and all deeply felt desires will impress themselves upon the subconscious and will reproduce their kind, to be later expressed in the personal being of man. Every desire for power, ability, wisdom, harmony, joy, health, purity, life, greatness, will impress itself upon the subconscious and will cause the thing desired to be produced in the great within, the quality and the quantity depending upon the depth of the desire and the conscious realization of the true idea conveyed by the desire. What is produced in the within will invariably come forth into expression in the personality. Therefore, by knowing how to impress the subconscious, man may give his personal self any quality desired and in any quantity desired. Personal power, physical health, mental brilliancy, remarkable ability, extraordinary talent, rare genius. These are attainments that the subconscious of every mind can readily produce and bring forth when properly directed and impressed. The subconscious mind obeys absolutely the desires of the conscious mind, and since the subconscious is limitless, it can do for man whatever he may desire to have done. What man may desire to become, that he can become, and the art of directing and impressing the subconscious is the secret. Unlimited possibilities do exist in the subconscious of every mind, and since these possibilities can all be developed, there is no end to the attainments and achievements of man. Nothing is impossible. The great within is limitless, the inexhaustible source of everything that may be required for the highest development and the greatest accomplishments in human life, and whatever we may direct the within to produce, the same will invariably be produced. To properly direct and impress the subconscious, the first essential is to realize that the subconscious mind is a finer mentality that permeates every fiber of the entire personality. Though the subconscious can be impressed most directly through the brain center, the volume of subconscious expression will increase in proportion to our conscious realization of subconscious life in every part of mind and body. To concentrate attention frequently upon the subconscious side of the entire personality will steadily awaken the great within. This will cause one to feel that a new and superior being is beginning to unfold, and with that feeling comes the conviction that unbounded power does exist in the deeper life of man. When the awakening of the subconscious is felt in every part of mind and body, one knows that anything may be attained and achieved. Doubts disappear absolutely, because to feel the limitless is to believe in the limitless. While impressing the subconscious, attention should be directed upon the inside of mind. And this is readily done while one thinks that the subconscious mentality permeates the personality, as water permeates a sponge. Think of the interior essence that permeates the exterior substance and cause all mental actions to move toward the finer mental life that lives and moves and has its being within the interior mind. This will cause the conscious action to impress itself directly upon the subconscious, and a corresponding reaction or expression will invariably follow. While directing attention upon the subconscious, the idea that is to be impressed should be clearly discerned in mind, and an effort should be made to feel the soul of that idea. To mentally feel the soul of the idea will completely eliminate the mechanical tendency of mental action. And this is extremely important because no mechanical action of mind can impress the subconscious. Perfect faith in the process is indispensable, and to inwardly know that results will be secured is to cause failure to become impossible. The deeper and higher the attitude of faith while the subconscious is being impressed, the more deeply will the impression be made, and the deep impression not only enters the richest states of the subconscious, but always produces results. The attitude of faith takes the mind into the superior, the limitless, the soul of things, and this is precisely what is wanted. When the mind transcends the objective, it enters into the subjective, and to enter into the subjective is to impress one's ideas and desires directly, deeply, and completely upon the great within. Such impressions will invariably produce remarkable expressions, not only because they have entered more deeply into the subconscious, but also because every impression that is made in the attitude of faith is given superior quality, greater power, and higher worth. The subconscious should never be approached in the attitude of command or demand, but always in the attitude of faith and desire. Never command the subconscious to do thus or so, but desire, with a deep, strong desire, that the subconscious do what you desire to have done, and animate that desire with the faith that it positively will be done. To combine a high faith with a strong desire while impressing the subconscious is the secret through which results may invariably be secured. The subconscious should never be forcefully aroused, but should be gradually awakened and developed through such actions of mind as are deep and strong while perfectly serene. Deep thoughts on all important subjects, lofty aspirations on all occasions, and a constantly expanding consciousness will aid remarkably in awakening the great within. Whenever attention is directed upon the subconscious, an effort should be made to expand consciousness by picturing upon the mind the expanding process, while the deeper feeling of thought is placing itself in touch with the universal. A strong, deep desire for greater things should be impressed upon the inner mentality, and a deep stillness should animate every action of mind. The inner side of mind should always be acted upon peacefully, though not with that peacefulness that has a tendency to produce inaction, but with that peacefulness that produces a high, strong action that continues to act in serenity and poise. To concentrate a strong, deeply felt, well-poised mental action upon the entire subconscious mentality a number of times every day will, in a remarkably short period of time, develop the great within to such an extent that the mind will inwardly know that unlimited power and innumerable possibilities have been placed at its command. And when this realization comes, the mind may go on to any attainment and any achievement. Failure will be simply impossible. When the development of the subconscious has been promoted to a degree the conscious mind will instinctively feel that failure is impossible and will consequently leave results to the law. There will be no anxiety about results because to feel the presence of the subconscious action is to know that results must follow when the subconscious is properly directed and impressed. Perfect faith in the law that the subconscious will invariably do whatever it is impressed to do will eliminate anxiety completely. And this is extremely important because the subconscious mind cannot proceed to do what it has been impressed to do so long as there is anxiety in the conscious mind. Provide the proper conditions, and the law will positively produce the desired results. And to inwardly know this is the first essential in providing the proper conditions. The subconscious mind is somewhat similar to the phonograph. Under certain conditions, it can record anything, and under certain other conditions, it can reproduce everything that has been recorded. There is this difference, however. The subconscious not only reproduces exactly what has been recorded, but will also form, create, develop, and express what mind may desire when the impression is being made. That is, the subconscious not only reproduces the seed itself, but as many more seeds as the original seed desired to reproduce, and also the exact degree of improvement in quality that was latent in the desire of the original seed or impression. The subconscious not only reproduces the mental idea contained in the impression, but also every essential that may be required to fulfill the desire of that impression. Through this law, the subconscious can find the answer to any question or work out any problem when properly impressed with an exact idea of what is wanted. The subconscious provides the essentials, but the conscious mind must apply those essentials before practical results may be secured. When the subconscious is directed to produce health, those mental actions will be expressed that can produce health in the body when combined with normal physical actions. And it is the conscious mind that must produce the normal physical actions, that is, common sense living. When the subconscious is directed to produce success, those elements, qualities, and powers will be expressed in mind and body that can, if consciously applied, produce success. That the subconscious can do anything is absolutely true, but it is true in this sense that it can supply the power, the capacity, and the understanding to do anything, but the conscious mind must practically apply what the subconscious has brought forth into expression. The subconscious supplies the power and the mental elements, but these must be used by the conscious mind if the desired results are to be secured. Nothing comes ready-made from the subconscious, but it can give us the material from which we can make anything. The subconscious can give you the powers and qualities of genius, and if you apply practically and constantly those powers and qualities, you will become a genius. The subconscious can give you the life and power that is necessary to remarkable talents, and if you use that life and power in the daily cultivation of your talents, those talents will become remarkable. The law is that the conscious mind must impress its desires upon the subconscious in order to secure the mental essentials that may be required to fulfill those desires. But the conscious mind must use those essentials before results can be secured. It is the conscious mind that does things, but it is the subconscious that supplies the power with which those things are done. And by learning to draw upon the subconscious, the conscious mind can do anything, because unbounded power and innumerable possibilities are latent in the great within. The proper conditions for recording an impression upon the subconscious are deep feeling, strong desires, conscious interest, and a living faith. When these are blended harmoniously in the conscious actions of mind, the subconscious will be directed and impressed properly, and the desired response will invariably appear. The principal essential, however, is deep feeling. No idea or desire can enter the subconscious unless it is deeply felt. And every idea or desire that is deeply felt will enter the subconscious of itself, whether or not we desire to have it do so. It is through this law that man is affected by his environments, surroundings, and external conditions, because whenever he permits himself to be deeply impressed by that which he may come in contact, those impressions will enter the subconscious. What enters the subconscious of any mind will become a part of that mind and will, to a degree, affect the nature, the character, the quality, the thoughts, and the actions of that mind. When the subconscious is impressed by external conditions, the impressions will be like those conditions, and as like produces like, conditions will be produced in the subconscious that are exactly like those external conditions from which the impressions came. The individual, therefore, who permits his subconscious to be indiscriminately impressed by external conditions will think and act more or less as his environments may suggest. In many respects, his life will be controlled completely by those persons and things with which he may come in contact, while in nearly all other respects his life will be greatly modified by the presence of those persons and things. The mind that does not control its feelings may be subconsciously impressed by any external action, be that action good or otherwise, while the mind that can give deep feeling to any idea can impress any idea upon the subconscious, and as the whole of the individual life is determined by what the subconscious is directed or impressed to do, the former will become more or less like his environment, having control neither of himself nor his destiny. The latter, however, may become what he wants to become, and will master both himself and his destiny. No undesirable feeling should ever be permitted. No wrong idea should ever be given in thought, nor should one ever think seriously, feelingly, or sympathetically about wrong or evil in any shape or form. To think feelingly about wrong is to impress wrong upon the subconscious. It is to sow undesirable seeds in the garden of the mind, and a harvest of weeds, sickness, trouble, and want will be the result. Good thoughts, deeply felt, will bring health, happiness, harmony, peace, power, ability, and character. Wrong thoughts, deeply felt, will bring discord, depression, fear, sickness, weakness, and failure. To properly impress the subconscious at all times, it is necessary to train the mind to think only of those things that one desires to realize and express in tangible life. And what one does not wish to meet in personal experience should never be given a single moment of thought. What we mentally feel, we invariably impress upon the subconscious, and there is a tendency to mentally feel every thought that is given prolonged or serious attention. To think about that which we do not want is to impress upon the subconscious what we do not wish to impress. And as every impression produces a corresponding expression, we will thereby receive the very things we desire to avoid. It is through this law that what we fear always comes upon us, because what we fear will impress itself upon the subconscious without fail. To fear disease, failure, or trouble is to sow seeds in the subconscious field that will bring forth a harvest of disease conditions, troubled thoughts, confused mental states, and misdirected actions in mind and body. The more intense the fear, the deeper the subconscious impression, and the more we shall receive of that which we feared we should receive. Through the same law, we always receive what we continue to expect in the desire of the deep, strong faith. The more faith we have in the realization and attainment of that which has quality, superiority, and worth, the more deeply we impress the subconscious with those mental seeds that can and will bring forth the greater good that we desire. To have faith and the attainment of peace, harmony, health, power, ability, talent, and genius, while directing the subconscious to produce those things is to cause those very things to be created within us in greater and greater measure. The purpose of consciously and intelligently directing the subconscious is first, to correct every wrong, every flaw, every defect, every perversion, and every imperfect condition that may exist in the personality of man, and second, to bring out into fuller expression the limitless possibilities that exist in the great within. Everything that is wrong in the personal life of the individual comes from a corresponding wrong impression in the subconscious. The wrong subconscious impression is the cause. The wrong external condition is the effect. It is therefore evident that to remove all wrong impressions from the subconscious is to establish complete emancipation throughout the entire personal being of man. To remove any wrong impression from the subconscious, the opposite correct impression must be made in its place. A wrong impression cannot be removed by mental force, resistance, or denial. Produce the right impression, and the wrong impression will cease to exist. By training the mind to think only of that which is desired in actual realization and experience, and by deeply impressing all those thoughts and desires upon the subconscious, every undesirable impression will be removed. The cause of every flaw, defect, or perversion in the personal man will be removed, and in consequence, the flaws, defects, and perversions themselves will cease to exist. The entire subconscious field can be changed absolutely by constantly causing new and superior impressions to be formed in the great within, and every change that is brought about in the subconscious will produce a corresponding change in mind and body. There is nothing adverse in the mentality or the personality of man that cannot be corrected by causing the correct impression to be formed in the subconscious. All wrongs, flaws, or defects, whether they be hereditary or personally produced, can be removed completely through the intelligent direction of the subconscious. Every impression that is properly made in the subconscious mind will produce a corresponding expression in the personality. That is the law, and it cannot fail. But the impression must be properly made. The subconscious does not respond to mere commands, because it neither reasons nor discriminates. It does not obey what it is told to do, but what it is impressed to do. It is the idea that enters into the subconscious that determines subconscious action. But the idea must not simply be given to the subconscious. It must enter into the subconscious. The idea that predominates in mind while the subconscious is being directed is the idea that will be impressed. Therefore, negative desires will impress the subconscious to do the very opposite to what is desired by the desire. To direct the subconscious to remove sickness is to impress the idea of sickness, because the mind thinks principally of sickness at the time. In consequence, more sickness will be produced. It is not what the subconscious is directed to do, but the predominant thought that is conveyed through that direction that determines results. Therefore, the predominant thought must be identical with the final results desired. When health is desired, no thought whatever should be given to sickness. The subconscious should not be directed to remove sickness, but should be directed to produce health. The subconscious should always be directed to produce qualities and conditions that are desired, but those conditions that are to be removed should never be mentioned in mind. Adverse conditions will disappear of themselves when true conditions are established, but the mind cannot impress, create, and establish the true while attention is being concentrated upon the adverse. To direct the subconscious not to do thus or so is to impress the subconscious to do that very thing. When you try to impress the subconscious with the idea that you do not wish to get sick anymore, you have sickness in mind. And it is the idea that you have in mind that you impress upon the subconscious to remove sickness. Forget sickness, absolutely, and impress upon the subconscious the idea of health, and that idea alone. Desire health with all the power of mind, and feel both sides of mentality, conscious and subconscious, so completely with that desire that every thought of sickness is forgotten. A denial will impress upon the subconscious the nature and the power of the very thing that is denied. Therefore, to deny evil or resist evil is to produce causes in mind that will, in the coming days, produce more evil. To try to deny away adverse conditions is to continue in perpetual mental warfare with those very things that mind is trying to destroy. Temporary states of seeming freedom in some parts of the system will be followed regularly with outbreaks of adversity in other parts, while the subconscious cause of undesirable conditions in mind or body will not be removed. So long as we continue to resist or deny evil, we will think about evil. And so long as we think about evil, evil will be impressed upon the subconscious. And whatever we impress upon the subconscious, that the subconscious will reproduce and bring forth into the personal life. When we have a great undertaking that we wish to promote and desire to secure as much added power, ability, and capacity as possible from the great within, the subconscious should not be directed to prevent failure. To think of failure is to impress the subconscious with the idea of failure. And detrimental conditions that will confuse the mind and produce failure, will be expressed. All thought of failure should be eliminated, and the subconscious should be deeply impressed to produce success. The subconscious will respond by bringing forth the power, the capacity, the ability, the understanding, and the determination that can and will produce success. When properly directed, the subconscious mind can inspire the conscious mind to do the right thing at the right time, to take advantage of opportunities during the psychological moment, and to so deal with circumstances that all things will work together to promote the object in view. It is therefore evident that when the subconscious is trained to work in harmony with the objects and desires of the conscious mind, failure becomes impossible, and success in greater and greater measures may be secured by anyone. When trying to remove undesirable habits, tendencies, or desires, the mind should never think, "I shall not do this anymore," because through such a thought or statement, the habit in mind will be re-impressed upon the subconscious and will gain a deeper foothold in the system than it had before. The proper course to pursue is to forget completely what you desire to remove. Refuse to think of it. When tempted to think of the matter, turn attention upon the opposite qualities, desires, or tendencies. Should you fail to become sufficiently interested in those opposite desires to forget what you want to forget, look for the most interesting points of view connected with those desires. The mental effort employed in trying to find the most interesting point of view connected with those desires will cause the mind to become thoroughly interested in those desires, and will consequently forget all those things that should be forgotten. While the mind is being interested in those desires that you wish to cultivate, they should be impressed upon the subconscious with all the depths of feeling that can possibly be aroused. These impressions should be repeated a number of times every day, and the new desires will soon take root in the subconscious. Every desire or tendency that takes root in the subconscious will begin to develop and express itself in the personal self, and will be felt throughout the personality. When the new desire is fully expressed, it will be thoroughly felt. And since no two desires of opposite nature can exist in the person at the same time, the old desires will disappear. The old tendencies and the old habits will have vanished completely. To impress upon the subconscious a strong desire for the better, the pure, and the superior is to cause the system to crave for something better. The force of desire will be refined, the entire organism will be purified, and the wants of the personal self will become normal on a higher plane. All kinds of undesirable habits may be removed by constantly impressing upon the subconscious the idea of pure desire, and all tendencies to anger, hatred, and similar states may be removed by causing the qualities of love, kindness, justice, and sympathy to be more fully developed in the great within. To remove fear and worry, impress the subconscious as frequently as possible with a deep feeling of faith, gratitude, and mental sunshine. To have faith is to know that man has the power to perpetually increase the good, and that he may constantly press on to better things and greater things. To have faith is to be guided by superior mental lucidity, and thereby know how to select what is safe and secure. And he who knows that he is on the safe path, the ascending path, the endless path to better things and greater things, has eliminated fear absolutely. To live constantly in the spirit of gratitude is not only to remove worry, but the cause of worry. To be grateful for the good that is now coming into life is to open the way for the coming of greater good. This is the law, and he who is daily receiving the greater good has no cause for worry. He will even forget that worry ever had a place in his mind. To constantly impress the subconscious with mental sunshine is to establish the tendency to live on the bright side, the sunny side, and to live on the bright side is to increase your own brightness. Your mind will become more brilliant. Your thinking will have more lucidity and clearness. Your nature will have more sweetness. Your personality will be in more perfect harmony with everything. Your life will be better. Your work will be better. Everything will be better. Therefore, by living on the bright side, all things will steadily become better and brighter for you. When all is dark and everything seems to go wrong, arouse all your energies for the purpose of impressing and directing the subconscious to produce the change you desire. Give the deepest possible feeling to those impressions, and have stronger faith than you ever had before. Continue persistently until the great within begins to respond. You will then feel from within how to act, and you will be given the power to do what you feel you should do. Ere long, things will take a turn. The threatened calamity will be avoided by the coming forth of that power within that is greater than all adversities, all troubles, all wrongs, and instead, this power, having been awakened, will proceed to create a better future than you ever knew before. While the subconscious is being impressed, no thought whatever should be given to limitation, and no comparison should be made with other persons or previous attainments. To think that you wish to do better today than you did yesterday is to give the subconscious two unrelated ideas upon which to act: the idea of the lesser achievement of the past and the idea of the greater achievement of the future. The subconscious will try to reproduce them both, but as they are antagonistic, they will neutralize each other, and there will be no results. The greater and the lesser cannot be produced by the same force at the same time. To impress the desire that you may become greater than anyone else will also present to the subconscious two conflicting ideas, and the results again will be neutralized. The course to pursue is to forget the lesser achievements of yesterday. Think only of the greater achievements that you wish to promote today. Then direct the subconscious to do today what you wish to have done today. This will cause the great within to give all its power and attention to that one idea, the greater achievement of today, and the greater achievement will positively follow. Know what you desire to become. Resolve to become what you desire to become, whether others have reached those heights or not. Forget the lesser heights that others have reached and give your whole mind and soul to the greater heights that you have resolved to reach. You can become what you desire to become. The great within is limitless and can give you all the wisdom and all the power that you may require. Knowing this, direct the great within to bring forth what you may need to reach your lofty goal, and the same will be done. The subconscious never fails to do what it is properly directed to do. While impressing the subconscious, think of the perfect in regard to quality, and the limitless in regard to quantity. Never specify any exact amount, nor any special degree. Always desire the limitless and the perfect. Desire nothing less. And animate consciousness with a strong desire to expand constantly during the process, so that the highest quality and the greatest quantity possible may be realized. Desire the fullest possible expression in the great eternal now. Realize that your own inherent powers and capabilities are limitless, and impress that idea upon the subconscious. Give no thought whatever to the lesser attainments in your own life or in the lives of others, but keep your mental eye single upon what you wish to become, knowing that you can become what you wish to become, because there are no limitations in the great within. When the subconscious begins to respond, a distinct sensation is frequently felt of some interior power working through you. This means that greater power from within is being awakened, and the outer mind should give full right of way so that a complete expression may be secured. That is, the conscious mind should become quiet, serene, and thoroughly receptive, and should forget the personal self for the time. When the personal self is forgotten, and the greater interior self is given full possession of both the mentality and the personality, it is then that one's greatest work is done. It is then that real ability, real talent, and real genius can appear in tangible life and action. When the musician forgets herself, there is something in her music that awakens the very depths of the soul, and you are lifted to a fairer world than you ever knew before. When the artist forgets himself, his pictures are given immortal life, and every touch reveals a universe of indescribable beauty. When the orator forgets himself, he speaks as one having authority, and you inwardly feel that every word is true. When the practical man of affairs forgets himself, he is given a power that is irresistible, and the obstacles that are encountered in the way disappear, as if they never had the slightest existence. It is such people that do great things in the world. It is such people who live in the human heart after ages have passed away. And their secret is this: the greatness within them was awakened and was permitted to give full expression to its rare and superior power. When you feel this higher power mysteriously moving within the greater depths of mind and soul, you know what is taking place. Be calm and give the superior self the right of way. At first, this power may feel as if it were distinct from yourself, but it is not. It is your own superior power, the coming forth of your own limitless power, the very power that you have for some time been directing the subconscious to produce. And when you feel that it is your own, it is placed in your full conscious possession and will do whatever you may desire or direct. To inwardly feel that the entire within is your own is extremely important, because the more completely the conscious mind is united with the power of the subconscious, the more perfectly can the conscious mind impress the subconscious, and the more thoroughly can the greater power of the subconscious express itself in external and tangible action. When you are about to do something that demands the best that is within you, impress the subconscious for higher power. Then wait a few moments for this power to appear. And when it does appear, let the outer self obey. The great within has come forth to do your work, and no power in existence can do it better. To enter into full conscious possession of the higher power from within, and to give full right of way to this power, is to give your objective talents and faculties the greatest power and the best power at your command. To impress the subconscious for more power, it is necessary to give that impression all the power that mind is conscious of now. In other words, the seed that is already at hand should be placed in the rich soil. The power that is now active in the conscious mind should be caused to act upon the subconscious. There will be an increase, and by re-impressing the added power upon the subconscious, every time added power is gained. This increase will become perpetual. To proceed, concentrate attention upon the subconscious side of the entire personality and desire gently, but with deep feeling, to draw all the present active energies of the system into the subconscious. The more energy that is drawn into the subconscious during this process, the more power will be impressed upon the subconscious, and the more power that is impressed upon the subconscious, the more power will be expressed from the subconscious. The law is that whatever power is impressed upon the subconscious will return to the outer personality with added power, just as every seed sown in rich soil will reproduce itself 10, 20, 60, and even 100-fold. Therefore, to daily arouse all the power that we personally possess and to impress all of that power upon the subconscious is to increase perpetually the quantity of personal power. And the quality of that power can be steadily improved by transmuting and refining all the present forces of the system before they are impressed upon the subconscious. Before the conscious mind begins to act upon the subconscious, all thought and all feeling should be elevated into the highest states of quality, worth, and superiority that can possibly be realized. This will cause the impression to be superior, and a superior impression will produce a superior expression. That which is common, ordinary, or inferior should never be held in mind, nor deeply felt for a moment, because to feel the ordinary is to impress the ordinary upon the subconscious. It is sowing inferior seed, and the harvest will be cheap, common, worthless. No person should ever think of himself as inferior, or permit himself to recognize the imperfect in his nature. To recognize or feel the imperfect is to sow more seeds of imperfection, and reap another harvest that is not worthwhile. There is a superior nature within man. This nature alone should be recognized and felt. Only those thoughts and ideas that are formed in the exact likeness of the superior should be impressed upon the subconscious, and the subconscious will respond by giving superiority to the entire mentality and the entire personality. The average person fails to improve because he lives mainly in the consciousness of his imperfections. He feels that he is ordinary and constantly impresses the subconscious with this feeling of the ordinary. The subconscious naturally responds by producing the ordinary, both in mind and body. That person, however, who lives in the ideal, who thinks constantly of the greater worth that is within him, and who tries to feel and realize his superior nature, will give quality to every impression that may enter the subconscious, and according to the law of action and reaction, will steadily develop greater quality and worth throughout his entire nature. The quality of the impression that is given to the subconscious always corresponds with the degree of quality of which we are conscious at the time the impression is made. To refine, elevate, and enrich all thought and feeling before the conscious mind begins to act upon the subconscious is therefore of the highest importance. The more quality that is given to the power that is being developed, the greater the results that may be secured through the application of that power. It is quality and quantity combined that produces greatness, and greater greatness is the purpose we all have in view. To constantly feel the greatness of the great within is to constantly impress upon the subconscious the idea of greatness. This will cause the subconscious to develop greatness and express greatness through every part of the personal man. As greatness develops, the feeling of greatness will become deeper, stronger, and more intense. This will cause larger and finer ideas of greatness to be impressed upon the subconscious. And the result of these later impressions will be larger and greater expressions. A larger measure of greatness will be developed perpetually through the law of much gathering more, or to him that hath shall be given. All development comes from the subconscious, and since the possibilities of the great within are limitless, anyone can, through the proper direction of the subconscious, develop remarkable ability, extraordinary talent, and rare genius. All genius is the result of a large subconscious mentality. Therefore, anyone can become a genius by awakening a larger and larger measure of the great within. That a genius is asleep in the subconscious of every mind is literally true. But to awaken this genius is not the only essential. The conscious mind must be cultivated scientifically so that the superior ability from within may find free and full expression. The conscious mind should be cultivated. The subconscious should be developed. The conscious mind should be trained to do things, while the subconscious should be directed to give more and more power for the doing of greater and greater things. The subconscious has the capacity to produce genius in any mind, the greatest genius imaginable, but the conscious mind must be highly cultivated so as to become a fit instrument through which great genius may find expression for its superior work. When quality and worth are received from the subconscious, the conscious mind should use those things in practical action, so that the outer elements and forces of mind may be trained to appreciate quality and appropriate worth in all their tangible expressions. The conscious and the subconscious sides of mind should be placed in the most perfect, harmonious relations, so that every impression of the conscious mind may enter deeply into the subconscious, and every expression from the subconscious may work through the conscious mind without any restriction or interference whatever. The entire mind develops through the attainment of deeper and higher states of consciousness of the great within. And as this interior realm is boundless, there is no end to the possibilities of mental development. To gain this interior consciousness, objective consciousness should be constantly deepened toward the unfathomable within. And this is accomplished by training all the mental tendencies to move toward the within. The mental tendencies will move toward those states of being to which we give the greatest amount of attention. Therefore, by constantly thinking with deep feeling of the great within, all the mental tendencies will move toward and into the great within, and will carry into the subconscious every idea, thought, or desire that the conscious mind may wish to realize and fulfill. When all the mental tendencies move into the subconscious, and all thought is given feeling, worth, and quality, the subconscious will constantly be impressed with superior ideas, which means a constant expression of superior life, superior ability, and superior power. The more deeply the tendencies of mind enter the subconscious, the more of the great within will be awakened, and whatever is awakened in the within will invariably come forth into the personal man. It is therefore evident that when we cease to live on the surface of personal life, we shall constantly improve that surface. By mentally living in the within, we shall strengthen, enrich, and perfect the without. That is, we improve external effects by going more deeply into the subconscious and increasing the quality and the power of internal causes. The person who actually enters the deeper life to live will not ignore the body. Those who simply dream of inner states of life may neglect the body, but those who thoroughly develop the greater inner life will become able to give the body the best that can be secured, and they will enjoy physical existence infinitely more than those who simply live on the surface. It is the truth that whatever we awaken and develop in the great within will invariably come forth into tangible, personal expression.